Hey, what's up, guys? Blunt Cuts here. This is a Watch Your Rums video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Please do like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. So I got a quick video for you today. I did notice something in the events section that just popped up. We do have a 2 times that's coming for both Divine and Invocation of Spirits. That's going to be coming this weekend. Not all that exciting. We have one of those almost every weekend, or at least every weekend that we don't have a 15x going on. However, we're also getting on Saturday a special ancient summoning, and that's going to include Aracha and Sargak, two really great heroes, two heroes that I would love to have on my account. I don't know that I'm pulling. I am still kind of saving for a Valderon or Praetus 10x, or 15x now, I guess, apparently. That is something that is interesting to note. This 15x rate did carry over to Ancients. I wasn't sure that it would because the pool of legendaries in the Ancient Summoning is smaller than what's in the Invocation of Spirits. But hey, I'm not going to complain. More chances to get the targeted heroes, and that is awesome. So let's take a quick look at their kits just to give you an idea, and then I'll talk about where they're best used. So Aracha is a Piercer Lord. She is the legendary Piercer Lord right now. One thing I will caution you, there is another legendary Piercer Lord that is Ancient exclusive that's not on the global servers yet. His name is Yovar. He is a badass. We don't know when he's coming. If we look at the timeline that it took Valderon to arrive on global servers, probably about 2 months away would be my guess, but it could be sooner. We really don't know. That is up to Moonton, so we're just kind of gonna have to wait and see what they decide to do. But as far as Aracha's skills, let's start off with her talent. When Aracha attacks unblocked targets, increases damage by 20% and crit rate by 10%. That's kind of cool. It is a little limiting. Oftentimes you are going to want to block targets, right? I guess it is helpful for airborne units, right? They're never going to be blocked, so you will get a permanent 20% damage increase to airborne units plus another 10% crit rate. I don't think that you can build her with 90% crit rate because she's not going to be able to crit 100% of the time on block targets if that's the case. So maybe there's some special use cases, but I think generally you're still going to want her at 100% crit, but 20% damage is nothing to sneeze at. So that is pretty awesome. Basic attack deals 100% damage to one enemy unit. That scales up to 120% at max skills. Her ultimate, Spider Stance. The hero evolves, increasing damage by 40% and hitting one more targets for 20 seconds. You are going to get another 20% damage increase with the skill ups, and you're also going to be able to reduce the rage cost and getting some additional rage, as well as bumping up the duration up to 30 seconds solo when fully skilled. So decent, not amazing. Truth be told, Aracha's damage is kind of underwhelming for the most part. There are some specific use cases, and she does bring poison on her kit, although it is conditional, as we're going to touch on now. So her passive Spider Toxin attacks inflict Spider Toxin. We can click on that. That is deals 10% continuous magic damage per second, cannot be dispelled. I don't think that she is going to be somebody that's going to fit into your Arbiter Frost. So you see that continuous damage, and that is where my mind goes, at least. But I don't think that she's going to supplant anybody who is currently in the meta for that codex. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people can find some creative use cases for her in that instance. However, the poison that is on here is conditional. So attacks inflict Spider Toxin on the target for 3 seconds. So that's going to be 30% damage, essentially. When a target dies under Spider Toxin effect, it will explode, dealing 20% AoE damage, which is kind of meh, but it does inflict poison for 5 seconds on the surrounding enemies. That is kind of cool. They don't say it, but I'm guessing the target cap is 10. The place where this is most relevant, in my experience, is in GVG. She can be really, really good in GVG when paired with a Silas. He gains a lot of benefit, obviously, a stacking damage multiplier increase, which we're going to get to later, that comes from Aracha. And Silas does some bonkers damage in GVG. So that is something that you could definitely make use of if you are a GVG simp like I am. Finally, Messy Web. After 6 attacks, the next attack will ensnare the target in spider webs and inflict stun on them, lasting for 1 second. If the target is airborne, the effect duration is extended to 2 seconds. So if you skill this up all the way, the required attacks is going to be reduced to 4, and you're going to get 1 more second on each of the stun effects. So it will be 2 seconds to ground-based units and 3 seconds stun for airborne units. That comes into play a lot in GVG, where stuns and crowd control are really powerful as you're trying to delay the enemy units from getting to your soul crystal. So that is pretty incredible. And then finally, let's take a look at the Lord skill. So increases faction team members' basic attributes by 15%. That is standard across the board for all legendary lords. Faction team members' attack ranges are also increased for 1 tile. For every 1 tile away from the target, increases their damage by 5% up to 50%. So if you're 10 tiles away, you will get a 50% damage increase. I think the only hero in the game that this is really relevant for is Idril. And she, as much as she is a great progression hero, she has limited uses in the end game. So I don't know that this is really going to be a gigantic benefit, or I should say, you're not going to get the maximum benefit from this on anybody except for Idril. But you're still, if you get the extended attack range that all Piercer Lords provide, you could be up to 4 tiles away, and you would get a 20% damage bonus for your piercers, which you're already getting a 15% attribute bonus on. So that is really powerful. And I would say if you're thinking Hex, Silas, and maybe Sargak, honestly, are some of the best beneficiaries of this skill. So really cool hero, somebody I would really like on my team. I don't know that she's worth giving up a shot at Valderana Praetus for, but that's just my perspective. I also don't really... I did forget to add when I originally recorded this video that Aracha is phenomenal in Guild Boss. I don't know how how that slipped my mind when I was originally recording this, but she is amazing. I did just go take a look at the world rankings for Guild Boss right now. She is in 6 of the top 10 teams. She is a massive, massive boost for both Hex and Silas, who are 2 of the top Guild Boss damage dealers in the game. So if you're looking to enhance your Guild Boss damage, she is certainly somebody that would fit the bill for that. But Sargak is the Ancient exclusive hero, the legendary, the non-Lord Ancient exclusive hero that is on this banner as well. And he is really good. Honestly, I think that he is one of the coolest heroes in the game as far as his appearance is concerned. Really, really love him, down to these like skulls he's got hanging off, to the big, I don't know if these are spears or not. It's just spikes. I don't know why he has the spikes there, and he's got torches on his back too. I'm not sure what that's for, but hey, more power to you, buddy. You're scaring the shit out of me, so I appreciate it. Very, very cool looking hero. Let's start with the talent again. So the talent, each attack launched has a 25% chance to trigger Blood Spear, inflicting bleed. The bleed lasts for 5 seconds on the target. If the target is already inflicted with bleed, Blood Spear ignores 50% of their defense. Now, the thing to note here is that it doesn't have to be his bleed that's on the target. So if you do have somebody like Salazar that you can bring, especially into Arena, this can be really, really powerful. Without somebody that you can provide a reliable bleed with, though, you know, it's a little bit more RNG based. I don't have the hero, so I don't want to speak to how often that is up. I think, you know, you can pump his attack speed up really, really high. If we look at his hero details, I think he has a 2-second, standard 2-second attack interval, which is pretty basic for a 12 cost single target marksman. Really great hero. You can get that down to a 1-second attack interval. Even so, you're probably gonna be able to keep bleed up on 1 target, would be my guess, pretty consistently. Beyond that, it's gonna be rough. And when you switch targets, it could be up to 4 seconds before you kind of hit that threshold where you should have, by RNG standards, gotten that bleed onto the new target. So I don't know. You know, I'm not sure how great this works. I have a feeling that he works best in conjunction with another hero that can provide bleed, would be my guess. But I don't have Salazar, so I can't really speak to that either. So I don't know that this would be, again, a luxury pull for me. There's some really great uses for him. He can be really good in Arena, although I don't see a ton of top teams using him. I have seen, he does show up, though, and there are some cases I think you would need an Aracha, so you would need to pull both of these heroes for it to be relevant, or maybe you already have Aracha, and that will make the Sargak that you're going to pull relevant. That could be as well, so certainly something to consider. As far as his basic attack, deals 100% damage to 1 enemy, prioritizing airborne units. Pretty standard for a marksman. It scales up to 120% damage if you scale him up all the way. His ultimate, Bloodshed Fury, when triggered, reduces 10% of the current HP per second, reduces defense by 30%, and increases attack by 35%. Additionally, each basic attack lands 2 consecutive strikes. So he's going to lose health, but he's going to gain attack. I guess he loses defense as well. That's kind of weird. I didn't realize he did that. But most of the situations that you're going to use him in, he's on a platform. He's not going to get hit anyway, so this doesn't really matter. Certainly in Arena, I'd say in GVG, he's certainly usable, but you just have to be mindful of where you deploy him so that he's not going to be taking any hits, because he's going to be low on health, and he is likely to get popped by 1 hit, honestly. That is a near certainty with this guy. So if you do skill him up all the way, you're going to get another 10% on the attack increase. The effect duration is going to go up to 20 seconds, and the skill cost is going to go down to 900. So really solid ultimate, very, very cool. And he does have that like chaos faction element where he's reducing his health and gaining more more damage, I believe. So yeah, that actually comes in a little bit later. We'll get there. Bellicosity. Bellicosity? I don't know how you say that word, if it's a word, but increases attack speed by 6 for every 1% HP lost. So as his HP is going down, which will happen when you use his ultimate, you are going to get an increased attack speed. The effect of specialized attack speed is stronger when HP is lower. I don't see where the specialized attack speed comes in. Maybe he just has it by default and they just don't say it, or this is how they're telling us. I'm not really sure. If you skill it up, you're going to get this added per stack bonus up to 10 attack speed. So I don't know how high that can go. I mean, it doesn't say there's a cap, so you could get a ridiculous amount of attack speed on him. I would love to play around with that. This seems like something that is ripe for exploitation, and that is my jam. I love to find these things that are overpowered in games and then abuse the shit out of them. What can I say? I think it's fun. So I'm almost like talking myself into pulling this weekend based on this, but we will see when we get there. So finally, Feral Force, his passive, when the target's HP is below 40%, increases the hero's damage by 10%. If the target is already inflicted with bleed, Blood Spear will inflict a mobilized state. Cool. For 2 seconds. A mobilized state can be triggered up to 1 times every 5 seconds. So you could theoretically on one target have 40% uptime on that, which is pretty awesome. As you can see, you're going to increase the damage by another 10% and increase the HP threshold by 10%. So it'll be 50% HP and 20% damage that he'll be getting when he is below 50% HP, which is pretty awesome. Very, very cool. Finally, he does have, like a lot of these chaotic units do have an arena passive, and he's going to increase his damage in arena by 15%. That is pretty fantastic. A lot of them have a cost reduction. I guess that doesn't make all that much sense when he's already only 12 cost, although wouldn't it be awesome to have like an 8 or a 7 cost marksman that you could toss in there? That would be pretty incredible. But hey, the 15% damage increase is pretty great. Pretty great. We can take a look at the awakenings here. I didn't do that on Aracha because you're unlikely to get them, honestly. I wasn't thinking about it, honestly. You can go check them out for yourself on Aracha. We will go through Sargak's here because I am kind of curious and I'm not super familiar with this hero beyond just the broad strokes. So A1, during the effect of Bloodshed Fury, if the hero's HP is below 50%, additionally increases attack by 10% and reduces defense by 10%. So again, it's a punishing one. I don't know that it's going to matter all that much. These platform units, they have barely any defense anyway, so I don't know that that's really gonna hurt you at the end of the day. I also don't really understand why it's in there. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But anyway, plus 300 attack. Remember, this is the base attack, so it is going to be reasonably effective. It is something that is going to potentially give you, it's going to give you a lot more than your 300 attack. If you've got plus 200% attack bonus, this is actually going to net you a total of 900 attack, which is pretty damn good, honestly. I kind of undersold these A2s with plus attack on them early on, and boy was I wrong, because I've gotten on a few of my better heroes, and good God, do they make a difference. Once you kind of cap out on gear, this is one of the few ways that you can actually increase your hero's stats and thereby their damage. So A3, Blood Spear deals 50% increased damage to elites and bosses. That is another one that is going to be really big in Arena. I imagine it's also probably pretty big in GVG, although I'm not sure which of the demon soldiers are categorized as elites or not. Maybe it says on there and I haven't noticed, but that is interesting. A 4 plus 8% crit rate. If you've watched any of my hero breakdowns, you know I love this. I love extra crit rate on it. Crit rate is a limiting factor. You want to cap it out, but you don't really want any more. So this is going to give you more gear flexibility. It's going to allow you to bring in potentially a juicy ancient that doesn't have crit rate on it that you couldn't find a use for. This may be your opportunity to use it. So I hope you saved all of those. Finally, the A5, when any unit, including allies and enemies in range, dies, increases attack by 1%. Attack will be increased by an extra 1% if the unit is killed by the hero. The increase is capped at 20%. So that's cool. I guess you could get to the max bonus quickest by killing 10 enemies, or some combination of him killing enemies and other enemies dying around him. So pretty damn cool. Another 20% damage increase is not too bad. Not the most overpowered awakening in the game, I don't think, but it is pretty solid. So that is the 10x this weekend. I still don't know if I'm pulling. Let me show you guys what I'm working with here. I have got Oop, I passed them. Where are they? 140 of these ancient summoning crystals. I have been saving up for around 3 months at this point. I'm waiting for Praetus or Valderon 10x, but Aracha is one of the few units that would help me in some areas of the game. Aracha can be really big, as I said earlier, in GVG. She's also really good in Gear Raid 3. I don't need her there personally, but she would be helpful there as well. I also imagine there may be some interesting things you could do with her in GR4 to extend the range and potentially bring some marksmen in there. So that might be an option as well if you're trying to find a, I guess, a comp that is a little less cookie cutter than what people have normally been using, or if you are limited in other ways, she might be helpful for you in there. So that's something to consider. It's just, this is pure speculation on my mind. You know, don't take this as like, Bluntgut said Aracha will help me beat Gear Raid 4. I don't know that, but I'm just speculating that she could be there, good there. But I'd say Aracha Arena, GR4, maybe, and definitely in GVG, she is big there. So those are the places that I would be looking to enhance if I was looking to pull for her. For me, primarily, it would be GVG. That's what I would need her for. I guess Arena might be all right as well, but I don't know that she's really going to do all that better than my current teams. So that is my current thought process on that. Sargak would be more of a luxury item, but I've wanted him for a really long time, and I have seen some pretty badass GVG defenses that have him in it as well. So I'd love to just have him to play around, but I don't know. We'll see. You'll have to wait and see if there is a summoning video from your boy Bluntguts this weekend. They're burning a hole in my pocket right now, and I'm about 50 away from Mercy, so I might just pull, see if I can't pick up an Aracha. Of course, I could always get lucky and get Valderon or Praetus anyway. And I think that my odds of getting either of those heroes is not that much worse than it would be if I was pulling on a banner that had no raid up involved. So certainly something to consider. I'll be thinking about it. Let me know in the comments what you plan on doing. Are you pulling? Are you not? Are you excited about this 10x? Do you think this is bait? I think it could be bait. I think they might be getting people to try to pull on Aracha so that they can then drop in one of the more desired heroes, the ancient exclusive lords, in another week or two. That's my thought. Let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching. Please do like and subscribe. I hope you all have a great day.